Your four favorites are Millions, Goodbye Lenin, Four Lions, and The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. This was a tricky one because you already saw so many of the movies I wanted to recommend. So if anyone is confused by some of my choices, just know that if there's a movie you're surprised I didn't recommend, there's a 99% chance it was already marked as watch. My top choice for you is Big Fish. You mentioned magical realism in your review for Millions, and this film has plenty of magical realism. And like Goodbye Lenin, it's about a parent-son relationship. It also has a bit of romance and involves someone fighting in a war like The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. Or maybe I was just thinking about this one because this one shot in Millions reminded me of this one shot in Big Fish, or because the star of Big Fish is a frequent Danny Boyle collaborator and I know he's your favorite director. There's quite a bit of satire in your favorites, especially political satire. So another political satire that has an innocent, maybe naive protagonist like Millions is Being There. Another political satire I want to recommend is Wag the Dog, because it's also a black comedy like Four Lions, and it involves a president hiring a Hollywood producer to fake a war to distract voters from a scandal, which reminds me of how the characters in Goodbye Lenin create fake news footage. While I'm on the topic of political satires, I also want to throw in To Be or Not to Be, The Fireman's Ball, and Ninotchka. When I was scrolling through your Letterboxd, I got a sense that you might be into comfort movies. I don't know if other people would consider these four movies comfort movies, because they deal with some very serious topics, but they also have a lightness to them, so I feel like it makes sense. And a movie that I think is a great comfort movie that you didn't have marked as watch is The Peanut Butter Falcon. This Is England came to mind when I was thinking about Millions, because both films depict young boys growing up in England, but very different lifestyles. There's some shots during the train heist scene in Millions that reminded me of the Great Train Robbery. It's just too bad Edwin S. Porter never got to hear the song Hysteria by Muse. Since I brought up trains, for some reason, I just get the feeling you might enjoy The Station Agent. Since you like Millions, I was trying to think of some other films where characters suddenly end up with a lot of money, stumble upon some money, or something similar, and I think you might like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. You saw nearly every movie that came to mind when I was watching Goodbye Lenin, so I might be grasping at straws here, but I think you might like Life is Beautiful, because the protagonist in this film tries to use his imagination to protect his son from the horrors of World War II, which reminds me of how the protagonist in Goodbye Lenin tries to conceal the major societal changes that occurred in Berlin so that his mother doesn't suffer a fatal shock. Millions, Four Lions, and The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp are all British films, and since Four Lions is also a black comedy, another British black comedy I think you should check out is Naked. Since you like The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, I think you might like The Best Years of Our Lives, which similarly involves World War II and romance. Another film involving both romance and war is Cold War, which obviously takes place during the Cold War, like Goodbye Lenin. Oh, and one more war film I think you might like since you like Colonel Blimp is Grand Illusion. Since Goodbye Lenin involves a lot of lying and pretending that kind of spirals a bit out of control, I was thinking of similar movies, and obviously that happens in a lot of comedies, but I really think you'd like The Birdcage. And just now, as I was talking about lying and pretending, I started thinking of Secrets and Lies. Since the secrets and pretending in Goodbye Lenin lead to some absurd and comical situations, that made me think of a bunch of screwball comedies. So I think you should check out The Awful Truth, The Palm Beach Story, and My Man Godfrey.